Hello, y'all. I know this has been a minute since I've done an actual political video. It's been probably about a month since the Trump-Harris debate. And yeah, so a lot of stuff has happened since then, of course. We had a whole other debate that happened between Walz and Vance, which I did not really go into detail about, really didn't discuss much of it. I've not discussed a lot of politics the past month and a half because I didn't really want to. Football season's here and I've been focusing on that. I have school, I have a life. I have other things pretty much to do than focus just straight on politics, but I felt like since tomorrow is election day, is the 5th, I have to give a video of some sort, and I kind of want to discuss it. So I know a lot of people have actually subscribed because of my political videos. So let's put on these glasses in time for my opinion. Because I know a lot of times I've been just giving what stats are out there, my opinions based off what I've seen of the debates, but not just my opinion overall. I know sometimes I've been doing that. Sometimes I've not. And you might have seen of it, some of my opinions. You might have not. I don't know. You might not even know who I am. But time for my opinions. Based off what I saw from the Tim Walz JD Vance debate, because that is the vice president and that's an important role, I don't think it's that hard to say that JD Vance clearly won the debate. He was way more concise. He was very quick with his answers. He was able to talk back in a respectful way. Not really talk back, just give his actual answer and formulate it in a positive manner that it didn't come off as disrespectful. And I'm not saying Walz didn't do that, but it seemed like a lot of times he was trying to take shots at Trump and just trying to give the whole campaign speech rather than just answering the question and focusing on that. Vance, overall, in my opinion, I thought it did a very good job of staying on topic. And they both had somewhat respect for each other, and they both gave somewhat compliments for each other, and they both shook hands and had a good, respectful conversation. Not debate, I should say, not conversation, debate. That was a nice change, but I think JD Vance is probably the better one. And I know some people dislike the guy. I don't, based off other rumors that are not true and have nothing to do with politicalness, anything with politics, well, they would have a disliking for the guy. Nothing at all. Nothing at all political wise. I would say that's like, oh, that's too bad. If you say Project 2025, Trump clearly denied that during a speech. That's not from him, and that's true. That's not all. Some of it are some of his plans, but he hears terms on abortion. He keeps it to the state. It's not an outright ban. It's to the states. And if that's the state falls under yours, sorry about that. Think about stuff before things happen. Plan about it. And I know a lot of the stuff happen. I know sometimes it happens based off medical situations or criminal or illegal stuff that happens, and stuff like that happens because of it. Trump did also talk about how that's a part of that. He's also going to allow that to be aborted if it's not consensual. He also discussed that in a debate too, but you pretend to ignore that. You kind of tend to ignore that. You try to say that, oh yeah, he's this horrible guy who wants to ban abortions and overall. But overall, majority of the time, abortions do not come from rape or anything illegal. It comes from people making bad decisions and not being responsible. And a lot of times people don't own up for their own responsibilities. So that's not Trump's fault. That's a you problem. Anything else happens like that, he already discussed, that will be handled in a different way because that's a whole other environment. If it's unconsensual, that should be handled differently. And it will be handled differently under him. And Kamala will obviously allow abortions no matter what. So she will push for that. And if you like that, that's a huge thing. But again, if that's your main thing, for some of y'all, that won't affect y'all. Most of y'all will not be affected by that personally, because a lot of y'all are men. How is that going to affect you specifically for you? You don't produce it. I know it affects the idea if you date a woman and then she has a child, and they either, or you have a baby and you want to either have it or not, but not specifically you. I know that does affect a lot. So again, women out there, do not use babies against men. It's a horrible thing to do. That messes with, first of all, the baby, if you end up keeping it. Second of all, the trust level of the dad is heavily skewed towards you, which will lead to a very bad home environment for anything the child would want. So don't use a child against another man. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? That makes no sense for you. Don't do it in general. I've seen it happen. It never ends up well for anyone else. This is a bad look for you, and it's a horrible thing to do. Anyways, back to other stuff. The way that, in my views, how Trump has done it, this political campaign, has been very interesting. He worked at McDonald's for a bit. He went out and he's talking, and he's wearing was like a construction vest at one point, trying to show that he's working for the middle class. Cool. You want to do that. Kamala going out doing her campaigns and all that. She has had an accent change midway at some points. Interesting. Meg the Stallion showed up at one point. Again, interesting. She's also saying that she's black when she's Indian. Again, interesting. I don't know why, but she's doing that. And overall, the campaigns for her has not done bad. The political ads have been very well in her favor because it's working. And Trump has not really helped himself because, again, you give a lot of material for people to use. You give a 2-hour speech, they can use 2 sentences and make whatever from that. So if you say anything bad in those 2 sentences, it sounds bad overall because a lot of people aren't willing to listen to it in the entire speech. And especially when any little bit they get for you, they will use it against you, no matter what. So I think Trump's not done a terrible job, but he's definitely not done good. A lot of little sound bites, that's been very bad. A lot of people also take stuff out of context. That's the main problem of a lot of stuff in media. Take a little snippet out of context. It goes for every source. Fox News, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of them have a big problem with taking little sound bites and then making the entire thing. You can't be doing that. And when it comes to just the person in general, I'm not sure how Kamala is as a person. Trump, we can definitely tell his personality. He's a brutally honest guy. And a lot of people don't like that. Someone who's willing to stand for their thing, stand on their beliefs no matter what happens, and will tell you if you think you're wrong. The only thing about Trump that I'm not the biggest fan of is his age, to be honest. He's 77, but he also has a younger vice president, which is a nice little safety valve. Something would happen to him, especially since he's been shot, and also had another guy go after him. And also, the way people talk about political parties and these political candidates, like you would want them to die. First of all, why? Because if that's going to happen, if Trump would have got killed, do you really want to have that discussion? Because that could have started a civil war within this country. And I'm not just saying that just to say that. That could have happened because that's Trump. You know how loyal Trump fans are? It's like college football fans. If you do so, if anyone did something to Nick Saban when he was at Alabama, you know what would have happened? Heads would have been gone. About Trump, that's more than just one state. That's an entire country of people that follow him. That's going to happen. So, and also people talking about him being a dictator. Why would a dictator ever wait 4 years and then not show any signs of joining the dictatorship and then continuing to do other stuff? And then leave and then willingly come back and never say he wants to be a dictator. What dictator has waited 4 years when he had the chance to do it and never became a dictator? And said, yeah, I'm not going to assign myself this role yet. I'm going to stay as president. That never happens. It happens immediately. He didn't do that. And I just personally don't. I'm not saying both parties are correct, but a lot of times people try to make assumptions outside the political realm against Republicans, especially Trump, critiquing character and how he acts towards people. Again, it's not directly political. That's a business guy. He's been a businessman for years. He knows how to get his way and he knows how to get what he wants. If you agree with what he wants specifically, but not the way he acts, he gets what he wants done. He's always done that. That's why he's a multi-billionaire. It's because he gets stuff the way he wants done. Because he knows how to do it and he talks to many people. That's why I would trust him talking to people from other countries about any business or any huge political decision. Because he knows how to talk to people. To get what this country would need. I don't know Kamala can. And I really don't. And the main reason for that, whether you like it or not, is because she's a woman. Well, to be honest. Because she's a woman. Because a lot of other countries do not respect women the same way we do. And I know some women out there say that America's like trying to push women down and all that. You'd be surprised if you go to most any other country, women are not respected the same way at all. Especially like when you have to discuss with countries like the Middle East and other countries like that, like China. They do not respect women the same way we do. Privileges that are given to women here are astronomically high compared to almost any other government out there. There's some that allow a lot, but overall, the countries that have high tendencies for wars really don't respect women. And having a female president would not work when it comes to dealing with those situations. It's not going to de-escalate anything. If anything, that would escalate it to a higher level. It would. It kind of would. And I think Trump is a better speaker when it comes to people. He had a 3-hour Rogan podcast, and he was able to. He got a little bit off topic. Rogan kept him on, but he gave his opinions, gave his slate. He went on to Theo Vaughn. Like he did. He's gone through a lot of stuff. He's gone through a lot of tests for people that's just chill, sit down, and talk to people. And he's able to do it perfectly fine because those are basic interviews. Kamala's not done a ton of that. She's really not. And some of them have not been the best. I'm not saying Trump's has gone perfect either, but I preferably like to hear what Trump has to say more. I do. And I think it kind of told I'm going with this, who I would be voting for if I had the opportunity to. I believe that, in my opinion, when it comes to this country, we try to say, or a lot of people are like, oh yeah, if Trump becomes president, I'm going to leave. Well, first of all, no, you're not going to, because that's just an empty threat. You're not doing that. You're not leaving this entire country. You're not leaving the privilege that this country has. And also, you kind of critique the character of a person rather than the leadership of them. And also, you kind of critique their character because what you've done is so poor. Like Kamala talking about either he's a racist or he's on Epstein Island. That's a problem. Yeah, I don't like that he's on Epstein Island. That's a bad thing. Let's be honest. That's a bad thing. But let's not talk about like the fact that she's not supported the pedophile for the past 4 years at bare minimum. Has been the vice president and supported everything this man has done. Like this man doesn't, Joe Biden hasn't sniffed kids. Like this guy hasn't made racial remarks about public schools that he's not letting this kid to go there because he's called it the jungle. That's racist. And he's a clear on pedophile. See how he's touching them kids. And she supports someone that does that. So clearly the moral setting does not matter as much whenever she gets the way she wants. That's not what I want. At least I want someone that's willing to build up a business. I know he's got some money from his dad, but the idea, you make a millionaire or a billionaire, that doesn't happen because you just got the money. You have to deal with that. You have to deal with other businessmen. You have to deal with greedy people. And guess what's known about leadership? In other countries, every leader has greediness a part of it. Very few don't. Very few don't. And what would be the best person to put in charge for a country that has to deal with almost every other one? Have someone that knows what it's like to be greedy themselves and understand how other people will talk about it and be honest and understand their point of views. And I don't believe Kamala has that. I really don't. I don't think Kamala can sit in another conversation with someone and employs the same respect that Trump can. And I've already explained why, but also the way Trump talks comes off more convincing, in my opinion, than Kamala. Trump's more like, I will give you my opinion, I'll give you my facts or whatever. Kamala, most of the time, is just, Trump is bad, we're not going to go back. That's her whole standing. We're not going to go back. To what? 2016 to 2020? That 2016, 2019 range? That was peak life for a lot of people, to be honest. A lot of people were that way. The economy was doing pretty good. Border crisis wasn't a big thing. The border was trying to build a wall, and it's better than what we're having now with migrants coming in continuously. Whether they're eating cats and dogs, I don't know fully. But outside of that, it's taking jobs from a lot of people. So if you want to build in-home jobs for open jobs, keep people away from jobs that aren't from here, and you have more opportunities for people that are from here. It's not. And again, what's annoyed me was whenever they were sending people up to New York and take over school buildings from gyms and just have migrants go there and stay there rather than kick them back out. Well, why is that? I don't know why. I really don't. It doesn't make any sense. And a lot of people are talking about the election idea that people are they're trying to get more migrants in there because of the election and all that. And they're like, oh yeah, we need more voters. And we're going to try to change stuff so they can vote. I don't know. I don't know if that's what they're trying to do. But if it is, it's going to work. But it's not the right way this America's been built off of. And George Washington told us this 300-some years ago. Stop dealing with other countries. Focus on yourself and make yourself the best. Ignore political parties and work together. That's what he told us to do. And we haven't done it, and look where we're at now. The most confusion this country has had in a minute. Because sometimes political situations are easy to understand, and a lot of times they're not. And this one's really not easy to understand. But you can clearly tell when some people are on certain sides and certain people on the other. I don't think it takes a genius to understand where I'm going with this. I believe Trump. If I had the vote for someone, it'd be Trump. It's not a big surprise based off what I just said. I believe Kamala has some redeeming qualities. that she's able to relate to people in some ways based off her life she's been through. She's able to relate more than Trump has, because Trump's had privileges when it comes to a millionaire and all that. But again, dealing with a lot of businessmen, yes, he's dealing with wealthy people. You know who else you have to deal with in political business? And a lot of times, wealthy people. How many times you have to deal with the middle class? Not as much. You don't go out to other countries and shake hands with the middle class. You shake hands with their president, with their king, with their dictator, whatever you want to call it. You shake hands with them. Why? Because they have the power. So if it comes to deal with middle class, it does. I don't expect a politician to protect the middle class. I really don't. I don't. The lower class, I really don't expect that. If it happens, great. But what I hope is consistency when it comes to gas, when it comes to prices, which is something that Trump did give, and Biden didn't. And again, Kamala supported everything Biden did. And whenever she got put into the role, she was like, well, Biden wasn't capable at times to do everything he needed to do and wasn't the best candidate for the job, even though she supported everything that he was doing and said, while he was president, I will support him being the candidate no matter what. That's a problem. Then that's being hypocritical. We're not going to discuss that. That's being hypocritical, though. I like Trump more than Kamala. I'm not saying these are two perfect people. I'm especially not saying Trump is perfect, and definitely not Kamala. I just don't expect Kamala to deal with problems better than Trump. I really don't. Comes down to basically that. I know what I can get from Trump. It's better. I know what I can get from him. I know what I've seen from him, and I like that more than what Kamala's been doing. Was I've compared to what Biden's been doing the past few years, and compared to what Trump had, I'd like what Trump did a bit more. I do a bit more, and again, some topics are heavily discussed, and again, abortion is like one of the highest topics right now. So, again, that kind of sways your opinion for a lot of things depending on the mindset you have. I'm personally not affected by it, so I'm not looking at it from that perspective. So that is why I think the way I do. Because again, I'm looking at it from my lens. And why are you voting for you? Because you're looking at it for your lens. It's a difference. The way I look at the situations can be different than you. That's why I vote the way I do and you vote the way you do. That's the way it is. I'm not supposed to look at and protect every single person's opinion and look at everyone's opinion and decide my answer. No, this is my vote, my choice. I get to decide on it. That's how it goes. You can decide whatever you want. I can decide on mine. I can't vote, but if I could, yeah, I go for Trump. And I also do believe Trump's going to win because of the reasons I just said. I think a lot of people say I'm not going to vote for Trump, and they really don't describe what Kamala has done well. They just say, I don't like Trump. He's a racist. He's a bigot. He's all that. Even though Mike Tyson, who's one of the most extraordinary athletes ever, and other historically great athletes ever that happen to be black, have said that no matter through thick or thin, Trump was there for them. There are a lot of people have said Trump was there with them no matter what. That says a lot about a person's character. They're willing to stick with him no matter what. I don't know about Kamala's situation. I really don't. But stick with someone no matter what, especially through the Mike Tyson stuff, the rape trials and all that. He went late night shows and defended him went on and defended him for the things that happened. If you want to look it up, you can. Herschel Walker defended him, stayed with him no matter what. Gave an opportunity through the I think it was the USFL was the name, for other athletes to go out and have opportunities. He gave people opportunities. That shows a lot about a person's character. He went into wrestling, the WWE. He had his own show. He did a lot of other stuff. He knows how people act. And based off of that, I trust that more. I really do. Because character, I think I would sway in Trump's way. I really would. Trump says a lot of wild stuff at times. I do agree with that. But that's the type of guy. You get a lot of good and you get a lot of the bad when it comes to like, oh, he does this, oh, he does that. Well, that's how Trump is. But overall, when it comes to big time moments, big time plays, he hits. And I don't know about Kamala. I really don't. Because a lot of times the big moments, things didn't happen. And I would say the number one during Biden's presidency was the whole Afghanistan thing. Getting people out was done horrendously there. That has kind of been forgot about. Was done horribly to an extent. Try to get everyone out at once from a war that's been going on for over 2 decades and expecting good things. People were hanging on planes trying to get out of there and rather die there than deal with what was going on. And Biden took everyone out. And Kamala was, again, agreed with everything that he had. It says a lot about her, too. Trump didn't do that. He did. He had a plan. Biden said, because that's Trump's plan, I don't want to do that. And change it up. That's what happens. Again, comes from my lens, I look at things differently. You're going to look at different problems your way. That's perfectly fine. And first of all, and last thing I'm going to say, do not let someone else's political opinions decide how you feel about them. Because if you let someone's political opinions decide how you feel about them, you're going to change you're going to be so skewed in a way. It's going to be unfair for anyone else. You can't be friends with a lot of people then from different backgrounds because they're going to look at things differently than you do. And that's tough to be friends with people from a lot of different backgrounds if you just look at their political views. It really is. And that really limits your friendships and your opportunities to talk to people. And that's upsetting. Because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that to yourself and you shouldn't do that to others. It's nice to hear other people's opinions, not the people's sides. Doesn't matter if you're far left, far right, or right in the middle. Why can't we just come together and just love one another? Why not? We have a different opinion. Doesn't keep us from not respecting and caring for one another. That's my opinion. There we go. I vote for Trump. I bet Trump will probably win by at least like 52, 53% of the votes. I know that doesn't sound like much, but that's enough. I think he's going to win. So, yeah. Put down in the comments your opinions about this. Hope you have a great day, y'all. Stay safe. Go out and vote, y'all. And remember, God bless y'all.